So I've ended up on a really weird side of TikTok. I was minding my own business this week when I scrolled across this video. And little did I know that this one video would cook my algorithm so bad that I have found myself on hobby horse talk. For those unfamiliar, hobby horsing is a competitive sport that combines gymnastics, show jumping, dressage, and running around with a broom between your legs. And boy, oh boy, it is popping off on TikTok this week. Now, I need to start this video with a disclaimer. I'm not a horse girl. I'm actually a horse hater. I don't like horse racing. I don't like horse girls. And to be quite honest, horses just wig me out. They give me bad vibes. I don't want them near me. I'm happy for horses to be over here and me to be over here. I found out about 6 months ago that wild horses exist, and it's unlocked a new fear in me that I want no part in it. They don't make sense. I just don't want them near me. Ugh. But the only thing worse than horse girls is hobby horse girls. Now, I get the logic here. I get the logic that horses are very expensive. We're in a cost of living crisis. You got to do what you got to do to keep afloat. And if that means convincing your child that a hobby horse is just as fun as a real horse, good for you. But I still hate it, and I'm still going to bully the hobby horse community. Now, I do realize the absolute irony in me sitting here talking into a pair of tongs in my lounge room by myself, casting judgment on what other people put on the internet. But that's what my job is. So join me as we explore the world of hobby horse talk. So the video that kicked this off for me, which has gone viral and I think is why everyone else is talking about hobby horses this week, is this one right here. So I initially thought this was a joke. I thought it was like some really niche comedy, and I thought it was funny. But then I did a bit of digging, and to my absolute disgust, nay, horror, this is real. This is not a joke at all. Disclaimer, I'm about to bully the concept of hobby horsing. The video in question is by a 16-year-old girl. I am not bullying the 16-year-old girl. I am bullying the hobby horse genre. In the video, she's quoting someone else saying, hobby horsing is not a sport, it's easy and everyone can do that. For starters, I want to know if that is the criticism here. I don't think, and bear in mind, I don't know any hobby horses personally, but I don't think the reason that hobby horses get bullied is because of a lack of athletic prowess. I've seen these girls jump. They have a good vertical jump on them. They are effectively high jumping with a broom between their legs. Like, the athletic skill is undoubtedly there, but I don't think that's where the hatred comes from here. These kids are being bullied because it's fucking weird. I feel like everyone had that girl in their class when they were in like year 3 that took being a horse girl so far that she thought she was a horse. And that's fine when you're 7. When you're 16, 17, it's a bit weird. So the video has clocked 2.3 million likes, 93,000 comments. The only thing better than these videos is the comments. One person goes, the good thing about hobby horsing is that you don't actually have to do it. Hope this helps. 318,000 likes. Incredible. I think that's just a panic attack from the embarrassment. Hope this helps. Even Duolingo is in on the bullying here. Duolingo said, she's not horsing around, guys. Another person says, going through that for hobby horsing is an insult itself, so I won't add to it. So yeah, I fully believe that this was a joke. Fully thought it was like top tier humor. But then I dug a little deeper. This comes from an account with 13,000 followers. This video had 44.1 million views, and she has a bunch of other videos, one of which is her competing at the Slovakia Hobby Horse Championship, in which she came in second. There's just a lot going on here. It's the slow-mo for me. If I was doing something like this, the last thing I would do is put it in slow-mo. The top comment here is, does this hurt the horse? But the more digging I did today, the more I realized just how seriously the hobby horses of the world take this sport. You're my temptation, you're my creation. It has to be a joke.
Imagine the day they see you again. And you are just, well, better.
They're giving us those same montages that like the most annoying guy you've ever met on social media posts, where it's like him training for a marathon. And he's like, yeah, one day they'll see you and you'll just be better. But instead of lifting weights, which is still incredibly cringe, they're hopping around with a broom between their legs. Babe, it's not that deep. Okay, credit where credit's due. This girl just jumped 105 centimeters. I don't know how high I can jump. I don't know what I was hoping to achieve there, but I just tried to mimic a hobby horse jump. And I reckon I made it like this high off the ground. So let me again stress that they do have more athletic prowess than I do. But somehow they don't have more shame than me, which is something that most people have me beat on. I am not someone with a lot of shame, but I do have more than them. 130 I take it all back. 130 centimeters, that is, I feel like that's like a pretty decent high jump height. And she's doing it on a horse. I take back everything I said. I think they are athletes. My favorite part of this is how realistic they make it. Like the horse will like shake its mane or something. A lot of these are filmed in backyards. I just want to know how many parents are sitting there watching their kids run around, jumping over things like this. So I've put far too much time and energy into this, and I think I've concluded that the queen of hobby horsing is a woman by the name of Elisa Aarniomäki. So Elisa Aarniomäki is the Finnish dressage champion for 2022 and 2023. She is like the goat of this. There are fan edits of her. There are YouTube compilations of her. She did an interview with Cody Ko. She is like the queen bitch of hobby horsing. And the way that they eat this shit up. Fun fact, if you want to learn from the best, you can get lessons from her for 10 euros per lesson. And if you use code GLUEFACTORY, you can get 20% off. So the main argument I've seen as to why this is a genuine sport that deserves our respect is the fact that horses are really expensive. Like a good horse can cost like $250,000. It's ridiculous. So this is considerably cheaper than that. But when I actually looked into it, this is not a cheap hobby. This is not for the faint-hearted. These girlies are not using the $15 hobby horse that you can buy from Kmart that I did very much consider spending actual human dollars on for this video before I got a parking fine yesterday, and now I'm spending my actual human dollars on my bad driving skills. So according to my research, if you want like a competition grade hobby horse, it is going to set you back 447 Australian dollars and 98 cents. That is for Luna, the hobby horse, a limited edition white horse with black hair. Cool. I take back everything I said because I have found a hobby uni horse.
It all started when my mom met my dad, and they fell in love, and they had me.
Not a unicorn hobby horse, which is what I had as a kid. This is a hobby horse that is attached to a unicycle. Incredible.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and my life, it's kind of crazy.
Now this is sport. This is genuinely the coolest thing I've ever seen. This video started out as me being a hater, and now I'm genuinely considering spending stupid amounts of money on a unicycle that is also a hobby horse. There are just so many niche communities in hobby horse talk that I have discovered today. I have learned so much about the world. Here's one. So you're a hobby horse girl.
I've been here 60 years and I'm still not bored. There's absolutely nothing that I can't afford. And I found that almost everything is made of cardboard. And there's absolutely nothing I can sing with weird chords.
Oh, she's got a good leap on her. No, I'm an equestrian. Oh, okay, so she's actually...
And I can run faster with no wind resistance.
Okay, so this woman has real horses, but is still a hobby horser. Actually, no. I feel like that... I get that. We have the likes of a Max Verstappen, who is a real race car driver, but still does sim racing on Twitch most nights. I'm not going to yuck their yum on that one. If hobby horsing is a sport, then so is Beyblade. There's also communities of people who make hobby horses. A lot of these hobby horses have really big followings. Like, there are hobby horse influencers that are showing off their hobby horse, like, reins. That's what it's called. They're making like full video edits. I think the part that freaks me out is the fact that they're like old enough to drink in the countries that they live in, and they're acting like these brooms with a stuffed animal at the end have these fully fledged personalities. Oh, I'm just trying to imagine watching these people in the wild. So while this all may seem like a bunch of kids just horsing around on the internet, there are full-blown adults that are doing this too, and they are trying to make it a competitive sport in Australia. A woman by the name of Maddie Sormani was talking about how she was working hard to get a national hobby horse competition running in Australia. Of course, this happens in Queensland. I remember I had a very vivid imagination which hasn't left me, and I'm quite an elderly lady now. That imagination, I think, was able to transport a really lonely, different child into another world where I could really express myself and have the freedom to do that. Well, now I feel bad. So the slogan of the Australian hobby horse community is fun, fantasy and fitness. As of 2023, there were 15 formal members of the club in Queensland and about 60 informal members around Australia. So basically the goal here is to get a big enough community in Australia that they can send over a national team to compete in Finland. Now, in hobby horses' defense, do I think this should be called a sport? No. But I can see the argument as to why it's not less of a sport than something like darts. Is this the dumbest sport ever invented? There are a lot of really dumb sports out there, but I feel like this might take the cake. Do you think the athletics community is sitting here looking at all the wasted potential in these kids doing what is essentially hurdles and high jump, but also just being weird horse girls? Oh my God, there's a Me and the Devil edit.
Me and the devil walking side by side.
We've taken it too far. We're taking the piss now. Do you reckon this is what COVID did to kids? Like, do we think that historians are going to look back on this period of time and go, oh, yep, well, they were locked in their house for 3 years. They couldn't do anything. Cost of living was out the wazoo. So they made the best with what they could do. This is grim. It feels like a cry for help. I think this is what gets me, that I am fundamentally scared of horses and horse girls. So I'm filming this knowing full well that I'm kind of too scared to post it, because what if the horse girls come for me? I hate to be part of that thing that's like, we are the generation that got given participation awards and that's why we're all so fundamentally fucked up. But where do you draw the line? Like, if my kid said to me, I want you to come with me and watch me in this hobby horse competition, I would ground them. I say this as someone, my parents watched me play netball every year for 3 years. Not only did we never win a game, we didn't score a single goal. I was horrific at sport. I have the athletic prowess of a wet spaghetti noodle. But at least I was never this cringe. I knew my place, and it wasn't athletics. I think this is what happens when you have a thespian kid and you try and force them into athletics. This has made me rethink every parenting stance I ever thought I would have. Don't force your thespian kids into athletics because they become weird.
Black slacks with accentuating off-white pinstripes. Whoa, everything goes according to plan.
The Venn diagram of Panic at the Disco fans and hobby horses is a circle. I love Panic at the Disco, but like, it just makes sense. Okay, so maybe that's my beef with this. If this was just their weird thing and they embraced it, I think I'd be okay with that. I think my issue here is that like, it's a very like, you're either with us or you're against us energy about it. Like, they're acting like this is a fundamentally hard sport.
Out to play ball so we could ruin them. Mama said that it was okay. Mama said that it was quite alright.
That's my issue with it. It's the over-dramatization of it. Like, it's not just these people doing their things. I'm all for weird niche communities. Like, I will watch a YouTuber talk about his fish until the end of time. It's the overly dramatic emotional edits. That's what I'm getting here, is it's like, nobody said you couldn't. They just said you probably shouldn't. You know what I mean? I'm going to humour myself by taking a look at just some of the hobby horses that money can buy. Fun fact, the same 2 hobby horses that my sister and I had when we were kids are still available at Kmart. The boring brown one that she had, and then the fun white unicorn one that I had. This is how I know I was a favourite child, because I got the fun unicorn one and she got the boring brown horse girl one. She then fell off a horse and broke her arm. So what can I say? Horses, don't fuck with them. Okay, so we've got on Etsy, you can get one for $151. What's over $250? Realistic, oh my gosh, $543, but that looks like a real horse. This one looks like they've just decapitated an actual horse. There are a lot of these that literally just look like a photo of a horse. I have so many questions though. If you're competing in an event and you like snap the broomstick, do they put up one of those tents around the horse and poof, do the bad hobby horses go to the glue factory? I have so many questions. This is a cry for help.